Welcome everybody to Level 1 Bootcamp Office Hours number 4. Today we have a bunch of people on the board to discuss all the things that were discussed at Bootcamp Day 2. My name is Rick Ballou. I go by @BallouEdTech. I'm a 5th grade instrumental music teacher in Minnesota, which is a fancy way of saying I teach beginner band. I'm a certified trainer and innovator, and I'm part of GEG Minnesota Metro area. Let's pass it on to someone else to introduce themselves. Go.
All right, I'll go next because we're kind of connected a little bit. So my name is Teresa Dukas. You can find me at Musical Teresa, and I am also an instrumental music teacher. I teach middle school band. So after, I guess if Fred and I were in the same district, it would be after him. But I'm in Arlington, Virginia, so just outside of Washington, D.C. I'm a Google trainer, innovator, and a co-leader for GEG Nova, Northern Virginia. Next.
Go, Chris.
Oh. Well, I'm Melissa Summerford. I'm an instructional technologist in Waller, Texas. That's just outside of Houston. I'm also a Google trainer, and I'm also the GEG Texas leader for Google. So our Google Educator group. Got tongue-tied there a little bit.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Becky Calling at Tech with Becky on Twitter, and I am an instructional coach in Santa Clarita, California, and I'm also one of the co-leaders for GEG SoCal.
Chris?
All right. I'll go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I'm Chris.
That always happens.
I'm at EdTech Forward on Twitter, and I'm an education technology specialist in central, kind of rural New Mexico. And I'm a certified trainer and innovator and a co-leader for GEG New Mexico.
Hey, and I am Bonnie Chalette. I work with the South Louisiana Google Educator Group. I am a technology facilitator in East Baton Rouge Parish. And I'm really, really happy that everybody came out. So let's chat about Google stuff.
I know, my
Favorites.
We're
going to cover our top tips real quick that we took away from our sessions, the sessions on Friday. Let's start with kind of go in the order of the boot camp. Teresa, you were going to show us doc stuff, your top tip.
Yes, so I'm going to share my screen and show you a little trick about Google Docs. So first off, I'll say that I have a golden doodle who likes to join me for almost everything that I do. So if you get to see him in the next few minutes, don't be surprised. So one of the cool things in Google Docs is this Explore button down here in the lower right-hand corner. The Explore button is going to allow you to go onto the web, find out all kinds of different things. And one of the neatest features has to do with citations. So if you find a web source that you are interested in using, if you hover your mouse, you'll see the little quotation mark, and you can actually cite that as a footnote. But to take it one step further, the 3 little dots is going to give you the option to have MLA, APA, or Chicago style citation. So just simply click that little quotation mark. You're going to get your footnote in the document. And if you scroll down, you'll see the actual citation right there done for you. So there is a quick Google Docs tip for you.
So cool.
Yeah.
Next that day was slides, I believe. Yes?
Yes, I think so. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you my tip that I like. Of course, I love Google Slides, so there's a lot I can show you, but I'm gonna focus on one. So, I'm gonna add a new slide. So if I hit the plus button, that is going to put a new slide because I want to add an image right here. And since I'm sliding into Google Slides, I'm gonna go ahead and go to image, and I'm gonna do search the web because I'm gonna put a picture right there, and I had already pre-typed it. So since I'm sliding into Google Slides, I'm going to go ahead and find a water slide picture. And what I like about this too is all these images that are here, when you search the Google, you can use them for non-commercial use. So if you're wondering, like, can my students use them? The answer is yes. So this is a great place for you to search for images and for your students to search for images as well. So that's my quick tip.
Very cool. Then we had forms and sheets. Let's do forms first.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so I'm going to show you, hopefully I'll be able to answer some questions that have been coming up about sharing forms. And so sharing in forms is different than it is in any of the other Google apps. You don't have your big blue share button, and that's because the purpose in forms is a little bit different. There is a send button, and the send is where you can find different ways to send your form out to the respondents, the people that you want to actually respond to the content of your form. But people were asking about if you wanted to add collaborators. And the way to do that in forms, there's two ways. I'll show you quickly. One is if you go to the three-dot menu, you can add collaborators. And here is where you can put in people that you want to help edit the form and can make changes to the form itself, not the respondents. The other way is also in Google Drive. If you find that form and select it and do a right click on that, you can get to share from here, and you can add collaborators that way, the same way. And so that's my tip.
Nice. And then the thing that scares everyone, sheets.
Right?
Don't be scared.
First off, don't let sheets scare you. They are probably my favorite. But I'm going to go through one of my favorite top tips that's pretty simple, which is how to make a chart or a graph. And so really all you need to know how to do is highlight the data you want. You can always change your fields later. And you're going to go to Insert up here and click on Chart. And there you go. And if it asks you to create a chart on level 1 and it says to create a chart with no other information, that's what it wants. If it tells you to do more with it, do more, but that's it. You don't need to get fancy unless you want to, in which case you can come over here and you can change it, or you can change your data range, you can do all that fun stuff. But really it's just insert and then chart and have fun with it.
I do have to say that came in handy when I was gathering data for my students for RTI. I could just show that graph right there, and it had like all their scores, and it was really handy because you can print that out. So I really like that for that.
Mm-hmm.
All
For
those
the
good
RTI.
words, data and RTI,
That's
just
right.
all right there.
Definitely.
At this point, we would usually transition to the slide deck, which I think Stacy is on right now in the back. And we would look at some of the questions that have popped up, but I don't know that many have necessarily popped up since session 3 to session 4, right?
Mhm.
We probably will want to give out the code, which I forgot to do this morning, later or now. The code is the expert is in. So if you go to the leaderboard and type in the expert is in, you get 1 billion points or 10. It's one of those two, but I know that if you enter that, you will get points. But if we could take a peek at, oh yeah, we'll want to leave feedback. But if we can take a peek at the questions, I don't know that there's any in the live chat. It seems to be most people are just saying, hey, glad to be here. So
There was, I will say, just because we have it in and we don't have a question, Lynn pointed out you will have to be able to move your chart into a separate tab. If you want, I can do a quick demo on that.
yeah.
But let's do that.
Absolutely.
Let's start there. So I can share my screen. And so here's the same graph that I made earlier. Again, I just went to the insert. I'm going to click on it, hit these 3 little dots, snowmen, meatballs, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to move to its own sheet right here. And so now I have one that has chart and I have one that has sheet. And while you're practicing in here, I mean, I just made simple data to play with. Each of our names gave us some quiz scores. And you can come in here, edit, publish, download. I mean, play with all of this, get comfortable with it, because it really is a cool tool to use in your classroom.
Mm-hmm. It is. And one thing I have to say, don't try to get fancy and like just follow the instructions, because I remember thinking, oh man, it doesn't look very nice what I'm showing in Google Slides, but just do exactly what it says. It's not going to look fancy.
Yes, that's correct.
That was one of the big takeaways this morning that people mentioned.
Was
because
it?
it's not an actual person that's grading the exam. it is literally a machine that's judging your exam. So copy and paste is your main tool you were using. If it says, put this question in this form, copy that question and put it in this form, right? I'm not saying that's one of the examples, but if it was, that's really all it is. Can anyone read those questions? Because I cannot.
Let's see. What is the best extension mounter to use for Chrome? Let's see.
While my school was doing remote, oh, it just went away. She scrolled. While my school was doing remote learning this spring, we used first Edu Creations and then switched to Seesaw. Can I use either of these in conjunction with Google? Yes, Google Classroom. I did see there was a Seesaw extension in the Chrome App Store for Seesaw, but didn't see anything about extensions or Edu Creations. I'm in a district where the K-5 school, and I teach at 10 K-5 elementary schools, beginner band. It is as awful as it sounds. No, it's great. It's a great job. But I mean, I'm at buildings a day, 5 days a week. So being able to control my data is really important, and not having to make the same assignment 10 times for 10 fluke classes at 10 schools. One of the things that I was able to do with Seesaw is usually put a link that led out to the Google Classroom, because we did have Google Classrooms in our building. So you can use Seesaw with Google Classroom, but more often than not, it's going to be a link from one to the other. Is that your experience, the rest of you? That it's a link out? Typically, it's not like it's going to be built into your Seesaw or your Edu Creations.
I don't use either of those.
No.
Fair.
Yeah, what I've been trying to figure out since you brought it, or since they've asked about Seesaw, is there a way to get, like, if you're on an iPad and you're doing some work in Google Classroom, if you click on, like, will it open up like the app? If you're from Google Classroom and you want it to open up the app, it will? You're saying yes?
That's my understanding. We also, that was the other thing. Like, fifth graders, because I work primarily with fifth graders, have Chromebooks, but the elementary, the youngers have iPads, but then some of them also had Acer tablets. So it was real fun for the tech folks to deal with. But we have a question here from Christopher Bradley. One thing in Sheets I'm having issues with is sorting data by column and listing by average, A to D. Someone want to show that?
If I've got mine up if you want me, unless someone else has a sheet with data in front of them.
No, you've got yours.
Nope. No.
I've got the data.
It's all you.
Some of you may have different ways of doing this. So there's a few different ways to do this. So let's say I want to know the average for Melissa's quizzes. I can come in here. I typically just type them out, but if you don't, I'm going to start with if you don't. You're going to come into insert. So I'll click on this box right here. I want her average to show up over here. I'm going to click on insert, function, and I decide what I want here. In this case, I want the average of her 3. And notice it's giving me that blank. What does it want? It has a little question mark. And let me zoom in so you can all see a little bit better. There we go.
I put some a link to some practice data. So if anybody just needs numbers to play with, I put a link of the one we used for the presentation in the chat.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just highlight the 3 cells that I want to average, hit enter, and then remember that teeny tiny little dot that Luis showed us. I'm going to click on that little dot and drag it down. And now I have the average of all of theirs. I'm going to give this a title, average score. And so I can see the average. If you want just the average of quiz 1, you can come down here. You can just type in the word, average. And you can start filling it in.
Oh man, a 90 is an A-.
Depends on your district.
I like that drag button. I like that little drag thing.
Yeah, the little drag. So then I can have the average of all 3 at the bottom, and I can see how my class did as an average on quiz 1, quiz 2, and quiz 3. So there's a few different ways to do it, whether you choose to type it or you use this insert button, and it's all living in the function. you'll play with these ones probably the most, but you might do the min and max a lot too.
And then he also wanted to see how to sort by column, like A to D, that ascending or descending.
Ah, gotcha. So I am going to come in here, and now that I'm on the spot, I'm like losing it, right? So if I go A to Z, that's going to sort it by name. Let's not do that. We're running to sort by score. Someone walk me through this because, like I said, now that I'm on the spot, it's.
Hey, Bonnie, you want to do this one?
Of course. All right. Oh, no problem. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share.
Everyone.
Nice.
No.
Because I don't know how to do it either. So
I do it on the daily, and now that I'm in front of all of you, I'm like, oh well, how do you do that?
You can do it a
Sure.
few ways. You can go to sort. I know my Snapchat is messing up, but I got lashes on because of it, so you know, it doesn't like all the things I'm trying to do. So this is the data I shared with everybody. Oh, I need to turn it off. Sorry, I'm going to turn it off.
Aw.
I know, it's messing up though. So, all right. If it keeps blinking, I'm sorry. So here's my data. It's taking a second to load because I'm streaming to y'all and everything. It takes its time. So Luis has made this a little extra amazing. And while I love that, I don't want that for right now. So I'm going to delete these. So as soon as you get this, if you see this, I'm just deleting it. So if you pull it up, this, like I said, we love Luis, but I'm going to delete these right here. So, because it's going to make it a little harder for me. So you can see we have like tons of data. It's all Harry Potter themed. If you want to sort though, yeah, exactly. Even if without this stuff, I know he randomized it. I know why it did it, but right here, so I have this column. So if I want to sort by what's in this column, I can just click, and if everybody can see it, do I need to zoom in? That would probably help them. Guys get real big, real fast.
Yep.
All right. There it is. So right here, I have this little drop down arrow. And that's where I use to sort. Like I said, there are a few ways you could do it. I'm lazy, man. I'm super lazy. Now, one thing though, and we don't bring this up a lot. One of my favorite features of Google Sheets is to freeze rows. So like if I go to view and then freeze, when I freeze this row, it stays there. So like when I was out of school, we had 900 kids. It's always doing this list of 900 children. And I'd always scroll all the way to the bottom and forget what that tab was. So if you go to view, freeze, and freeze a row, that row is going to stay there. So when I sort, it doesn't get all mixed up. So if I want to sort right here, who had the average, I can just click my down triangle, A to Z, and then it's going to sort it for me. You can also do it by going to data and like sort by, next level, all this stuff. Sort range is a good one. But for me, my fastest way is to freeze the row and then hit the down triangle.
Right on.
Did I answer your question?
So can I just say, I really like sort range because you can sort by multiple columns. So like in my middle school band world, a lot of times I will sort them by instrument and by last name, and it'll sort. You can do both. So you'd have to have a couple of columns selected, but that's a really nice feature.
Yeah, make a copy of my data though. I should have put the data. Anonymous Giraffe. Wow, I love you, and I'm glad you're here. Make a copy, because if you make changes, you're gonna. I'm glad you're here, but make a copy. So then that's, like I said, like she said, sort range is awesome. But on the test, you're not going to have to do like advanced sorting. You just need to sort, like, it's going to say like ascending or descending. If you sort range, then you don't have to freeze that row because it's going to ask you if your data had a row, kind of like Excel. And then you, like she said, so say if I'm trying to have a list of like an alpha list, A to Z, and then I want to add in their homeroom, you know, so like that's not all mixed up. You can add those different levels of sorting. So yes, this sorting though I think is like the best feature of Google Sheets. Like I said, I worked at a really big school, and I just felt like I was always dealing with these like huge spreadsheets of people. You know, like everything. There was nothing that wasn't a spreadsheet of 100 names. So I had to become friends with spreadsheets because I would have paper everywhere all the time. So what else we got? Now we're in
There was a new question that was thrown into our office hour notes. I'll just read it out. Is there a keyboard shortcut to make the division symbol house? Not sure what that means. Not the sign, but the house. I'm teaching 5th grade this year. I tried going through the Google Docs and insert equation.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't fully understand that either.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry I don't. A keyboard shortcut to make it. No, I don't know.
I think if we parse that out.
Stephanie said she uses the extension.
Equatio.
What is it? Yeah, Equatio for that.
Yeah, and there are some really cool extensions out there for sheets and stuff. If that is something, like I don't have too many extensions on here. Probably the most important one I have right now, extension wise, is Savvy Time. I don't know, for those of you not in the Global G, this is our crutch. This is our cross to bear right here. Time zones. Add-ons, but I don't know if she means an add-on or a Chrome extension, because they're two, you know. There are some really cool extensions out there for Sheets too, if anybody's interested.
Autocrat's
which Luis is amazing with Autocrat. It's the best one. It is. I think Awesome Table had a following, but now they lost it.
They're charging a lot of money now, so I think that's why they lost some of their following.
They lost their following. But there are, and like I said, there are a few like just label makers, just little things that'll help you. Flat icon. I know it sounds silly, but like it is super helpful.
Yes, I really do like that one.
I know this is my personal, so I don't have as many done here, but yeah, there are just a whole bunch here if anybody's interested. But Autocrat probably, I need to add that one. I never use it, my personal one, but I'm gonna install that one.
I use it constantly. Like Teresa was saying, my kids, they decide what instrument they're gonna play. So we let them try them out, or at least we did before a global pandemic. Anyway, that's a whole other, whatever.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? What's your plan for that?
That's a great question. In fact, I was in a meeting about that just before now, and no one knows.
To hear this.
Anyway, so with Autocrat, you then the kids try out their instruments, and then we can print an individual recommendation form out for each kid, because it's basically cool. Like a mail sorter, essentially. But it also works with Slides, which kind of ties into this as well, because you can, that's how Global GEG gives out the your PD documentation, which actually leads into stuff we're going to have to remember to say at the end, that to fill out the form and get your hour of PD from attending this session, you will have to fill out the feedback form, and then you'll get a PD thing. Chris just popped something out.
I just have to talk about this real quick. Me too, Chris. I'm the social studies person too. Okay. Google Sheets makes it easy. I don't do the math.
Yup.
Mm-hmm. I saw a question in there, and someone was asking about how they can make a GIF or GIF from Google Slides. So I know someone has suggested maybe using Screencastify or recording a video, but I can share my screen because there's another way that you can do it too.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think it's up there. Let me see. Well, it's down below. It's not sharing.
And while you're doing that, they're talking about add-ons and extensions. Add-ons are for like a bunch of, like, there's a forms. It's something that installs directly to like a Google tool. Like there's forms add-ons, there's slides add-ons. Unsplash is the best one. We were just talking about slides. And then a Chrome extension is just for Chrome. So extensions just are like It's just the Chrome add-on. It just has a different name, which isn't very helpful, but that's all it is. Extension is just a different type of add-on.
Just as
Chrome,
a reminder, you don't have to have those for the exam. Now, they're awesome for the classroom and needed, but you don't need to know all of the extensions and add-ons. I mean, we don't even know all of the extensions and add-ons. So,
and in fact, the exam itself, when you sign up for it, whether it be through ProctorU or Criterion, what's going to happen is they're going to create a very specific instance of Google for you, which will be populated with all the tools you're going to have to work with. So there probably won't be any add-ons at all, if I recall correctly, at least on level 1. But we do have some exciting news that showed up in Global GEG. Stephanie Carter posted there is competition for Ben Moore. Ben Moore is, as far as we know, the youngest Google certified trainer at 20 years old, and he just turned 20. He was 19 when he got it. But now, if someone can pop that up, oh, it was there and then it went away.
You have it up.
It looks like Stephanie Carter has someone who might be even younger.
I've got it ready.
Wow.
And Lisa, I see you when you say the district blocks a lot of add-ons. My IT department, like, I'm sure they just see my name pop up and they know what I'm asking for. Because at this point, oh, look how cute. Sorry. Oh. They block too much. But I just sit there and harass them and write lengthy justifications as to why they should unblock them. So you can get them unblocked. It happens. All right, you guys' name is Jeffrey.
Which also kind of goes into something that was mentioned this morning, but bears repeating. You'll go into an incognito mode for the exam. And when you do that, maybe don't necessarily do it on a school computer if you can help it. Don't necessarily do it on your school's email if you can help it, because of that. Steph is recommending we go into incognito mode. Would someone be willing to share how you open an incognito tab?
I can do that, and I have my screen shared now to also share some more Google Sheets tips in a moment too. So,
Nice.
So for incognito, if you go up into the upper right-hand corner to the 3-dot menu, right next to wherever you're signed into Chrome, your profile picture will be there. So the 3-dot menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you have options to open a new tab or a new window, and then there should also be one to open a new incognito window. And when I do that, then I still have all my bookmarks, which is important to know. If you have things bookmarked to help you in the exam, those will go with you, but any extensions that you have do not. And so now this window doesn't know that it's Chris Armijo logged in, and you'll go in and use your new credentials that they give you for your testing account there. So it's just the 3-dot menu in the upper right-hand corner. And so if you don't have that option, then that means that it's turned off at your admin console or something like that. So that's where they're talking about maybe not doing it from your school, because a lot of districts and schools do have that option turned off. So is it okay if I share a couple other things for Google Sheets that might be helpful? All right, so there are 2 things that that teachers have found helpful in the past when they're preparing for the exam and learning more about Sheets, but also to kind of have handy in case things come up. There are so many different functions in Google Sheets. But Becky was showing us how to do the averaging, but there's so many more. And so if you go to support.google.com and you go to the docs editors and go into Google Sheets, you can find the Google Sheets function list. And I can, I'll try to, I'll put this, I think I can put something in the, oh, maybe I can't from here. Maybe I'll put the link here, and maybe someone else can get it into the live chat for me. But the Google Sheets function list is searchable. So if I wanted to look up what does the unique function do, I can type that in, and then it'll give me the information about what unique does. So it's completely searchable. You can find different kinds of functions that can be useful and find out exactly what they do. So definitely the Google Sheets function list can be helpful. And another one that can be helpful, found in the same place on the Google support pages in Google Sheets, is the different types of charts that are available. And then you can, drill down on those a little bit to find out exactly how that data is being displayed in those charts. So just a couple things that you might want to have bookmarked and handy, and just know a little bit about with Sheets, because Sheets is the one that gets people crazy. And so having those supports there can be helpful.
But if you learn how to use Sheets, your teammates will love you. So
yes,
that's an amazing tool.
Cool.
So,
well,
okay.
Go ahead, Melissa.
No, I was going to say, if you could pop up my screen, I can try to answer that question earlier. I mean, my screen is shared, but I can't. There it is. Okay. Someone asked, okay, there it is. So someone asked a question about how to make this is not on test. It's fun. I'm just answering the question. But if you want to make a GIF or GIF, however you say it, through Google
The right way is
Slides.
GIF. But, yeah.
Right. I don't know I just say both of them because people choose. If you have you heard of Tall Tweets? I really like Tall Tweets because it pulls up your Google presentation. So I just went to talltweets.com. I'm going to select my presentation that I want to make into a GIF or GIF. So it's going to pull up, and I like that it pulls up the recent one that is there. Let's make sure, hopefully it does it. Okay, so there it is right there. I'm just going to pull it in, and that's going to bring it into Tall Tweets. And then it'll let me make it right in Tall Tweet and download it onto my computer. And then you can upload and put it into your Twitter because someone wanted to put their slideshow into Twitter. So there it is. I usually put like 800. There's not a reason why. I usually put maybe, let's do 2 seconds in between. And then the sequence, I've got 3 slides. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And then that's going to create my GIF. And I can download that and upload it into Twitter. I love Tall Tweets for this reason.
That's pretty great. At this point, we're at the half-hour mark, a little beyond with that cool bonus thing. I had not heard of Tall Tweets before. That's cool.
I'm not.
But at this point, I was told that I should say thank you and bye. So thank you all for attending the level 1 Bootcamp Office Hour number 4. This was really great, especially working with all y'all, because all you experts here are great at all the things. And you should tune in Friday for level 1 Bootcamp number 3. If we can get to that slide, Stacy, the one that shows feedback, couple things. Once again, the code for today was the expert is in, I believe, and fill out this bit.ly right here, good global, GEG global feedback. Fill that out, and that'll give us not only input to let us know what to do better, but also it will give you your PD hour for this. And it was only half an hour. I mean, look what we're giving you, and cheap at twice the price. Anyone have anything else to say? Otherwise, we've got a super cool outro video.
Let's play it.
The video.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.